Hey there. I am the raging epileptic. Not so much anymore. Not the epilepsy, I'll always have that, but the raging part, yeah, I'm doing a lot better now that I'm medicated. So today I want to be talking about why I absolutely despise the keto diet and the carnivore diet. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So let's say that you have temporal lobe epilepsy, right? Or you know someone who does. And everywhere you fucking look, someone's telling you to try this dumbass keto diet. Or worse, the carnivore diet. They say it cured their cousin's dog's seizures. And they say just cut out all carbs and you'll be fine. And also, it worked for a child with epilepsy in the 1920s. I have heard it all and I've tried it all, but here's the thing, that advice might be for a completely different person than you. Today I'm going to break down why these extreme diets can be a disaster for many people with TLE, and the real science they're not telling you about. So let's start with the keto diet first. It was developed almost 100 years ago as a last resort treatment for children with intractable epilepsy, meaning they had tried multiple medications and were still having daily debilitating seizures. It was and still is a medical intervention. It requires a team of a neurologist, specifically an epileptologist, and a specialized dietitian to monitor the patient. It is not a wellness diet you try on a whim. The classic version is a 4-to-1 ratio. That would be 4 parts fat to 1 part protein and carbs combined. 90% of their calories come from fat. Yeah, 90%. So go ahead, imagine trying to live on freaking butter and heavy cream. It's nearly impossible. And that's why compliance is a massive issue for adults and teens. The keto diet was developed for children, not adults, not people with temporal lobe epilepsy. Children with a very specific, rare form of epilepsy that didn't respond to medications. That's who it was for. And even then, it was the last of all resorts. Because I didn't have brain surgery back there. Now, these days, we try brain surgery before we even touch keto. Yeah, that's how bad this diet is. So, this part's where it gets super interesting, and this is a part influencers will never mention to you. A recent study on rats with temporal lobe epilepsy specifically found that the classic high-fat ketogenic diet didn't stop seizures from getting worse. Even the 70-30 that most people recommend, like 70% fat, 30% protein. And I think they do like 5% carbs, so 25% protein. I don't know. I don't remember what I did. I blocked it all out. Plus, I don't remember because my seizures were so bad that I don't remember anything. So, I just remember the pain. A generic sense of pain. It's horrible. By the way, I'm reading off a script that I wrote, so if it's weird, that's why. So, anyways, a recent study on rats with temporal lobe epilepsy found that the classic high-fat ketogenic diet didn't stop seizures from getting worse. The rats on a standard keto diet, their seizures progressed just as badly as the rats eating normal food. And there's another study from 2010 that concluded that the ketogenic diet fails to prevent epileptogenesis, meaning it doesn't stop the disease from developing in adult rats with TLE. That is a massive red flag. In fact, that's 6 red flags over Texas. The research shows that it might be the calorie restriction itself and the resulting drop in blood sugar that provides some of the benefit, not the fat. And for people with TLE, a drop in blood sugar is a known seizure trigger. The temporal lobe specifically runs on glucose. Specifically. It is the only part of the brain that absolutely gets the most upset when it doesn't have enough glucose, when low blood sugar happens. It is so mad. Trust me. So, you're potentially trading one problem for another. You're lowering your blood sugar, which can trigger seizures, while pretending you're healing. That is playing with fire, dude. So, if keto's a bad fit for TLE, carnivore is 1,000 times worse. Carnivore is not a medical treatment for epilepsy. It has 0 clinical evidence to support it. Keto at least has a century of use in pediatric epilepsy. Carnivore is just, I cut out all plants, so I'll cut out the carbs and everything else too. So carnivore is an elimination diet taken to an extreme. Cutting out all plant foods means you're guaranteed to be deficient in vital nutrients like vitamin C and fiber. Yes, fiber is essential. These are critical for your overall health. I actually got scurvy on carnivore. And I know what it feels like after the fact when I got off the diet and started eating real food in a, healthy diet for someone with TLE. I didn't know I had epilepsy back then, by the way. I thought I had like mental illness or some crap. No, I got epilepsy. But anyways, so I know what scurvy feels like. No, you don't want to mess with that. Do you like feeling like you're dying every day? So more importantly, people with epilepsy often have complex interconnected health issues as well, like MCAS, mast cell activation syndrome, which I have as well. I got the genetic lottery. Sometimes there are some ways I did, but anyways, if you also have histamine intolerance, it's a nightmare. So eating only aged meat, which is high in histamine, is a surefire way to overload your body with histamine. And that can be a massive trigger for seizures and inflammation. How fun. And let's talk about the iron. Carnivore is loaded with highly absorbable heme iron. If you have a tendency to hold on to iron, you can end up with iron overload. That causes oxidative stress, joint pain, fatigue, and it can lower your seizure threshold even more. Looks like nothing is raising it here, is it? Absolutely nothing. So carnivore doesn't cure epilepsy or doesn't even treat it. It just gives you scurvy, iron overload, and a false sense of control. It's a fucking trap. And here's the thing nobody wants to tell you. For many people with temporal lobe epilepsy, low blood sugar is a massive seizure trigger. Your brain needs glucose to function properly. When your blood sugar drops too low, your neurons become unstable and hyperexcitable. That's a recipe for seizures. The keto diet artificially lowers your blood sugar. That's the whole point. But for someone with TLE, who is already sensitive to hypoglycemia, you're essentially lowering your seizure threshold while pretending you're raising it. And the carnivore diet takes that risk and multiplies it. No carbs means no glucose at all. Your brain is forced to run on ketones alone. For some people, it works. For others, especially those like me with TLE, it is a disaster waiting to happen. And it did happen to me. Studies have shown that hypoglycemia can trigger seizures in people with epilepsy, and that maintaining stable blood sugar is crucial for seizure control. So why the hell would anyone recommend a diet that deliberately destabilizes your blood sugar? The answer is simple. They don't give a crap about people like us. Because we are underdiagnosed and we are not socially acceptable. They're thinking about children with a specific rare form of epilepsy and conflating it to all the rest of us. Especially the most dangerous one to conflate to me and all of my TLEs. They're not thinking about adults with this shit. And they're certainly not thinking about the risks of hypoglycemia, histamine overload, or iron overload. So before you try keto or carnivore for your epilepsy, ask yourself this. Is it worth the risk? Or is it worth risking a seizure just to follow a trend? Because the science says the risk is real and it's huge. And very dangerous. So to wrap this up, the ketogenic diet is a harsh, restrictive therapy that was developed for children with a specific kind of refractory epilepsy who had failed all other treatments. It is not a wellness lifestyle. It is not for adults with TLE. And even for the children it was designed for, it required intense medical supervision. Carnivore is a baseless, dangerous extreme that has no place in epilepsy management. It ignores every risk factor: blood sugar instability, nutrient deficiency, histamine overload, iron overload, and a whole gambit more. You are not a child and you are not a lab rat. You're a person with temporal lobe epilepsy or someone you know is, and your brain has specific needs that these extreme diets do not meet. The standard medical advice for keto works for a small, specific group of people. For the rest of us, it's a trap, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Take care of your brain, feed it well, and stay safe. I am not willing to debate this one. Not at all. If you have anything to add to what I'm saying, I am totally fine with that. But if you have something mean to say to me, or if you got some debate, how keto, oh my God, keto, God, deity, keto, right? I'm sorry, my brain's fried. I'm having a seizure constantly right now. My medication is not high enough. Anyway, so I'm not willing to debate y'all, keto zealots. Okay, you can take your religion somewhere else. All right. I'm talking to the people who haven't done this diet yet and who will probably get told to do it, because everybody tells me in the comments. Everyone. I've heard it like 10 times in the past week. I'm sick of it, and that's why I'm making this video. So you zealots will leave me alone. All right? So this is the video I just referred you to, you zealots. Everybody else, I hope that this was a good video for you and informed you and helped save you from this horrendous diet. As for you zealots, don't you spam my comments. Don't you try to report me or do something ridiculous, because I know how you people are. Your brains aren't working right. That diet doesn't work very well for the brain. So, yeah, this is the video that I have referred you to. Have a brilliant day, zealots. And for the rest of you, thanks for watching. Hope y'all have a good day.